Hello and welcome back to 4FS Gaming. Over the last few days, I've been playing a lot of the new Hunt Showdown map in the Lawson Delta, and in this video I will talk about my impressions of the map, go over some of the things that need to be fixed up before it moves over to the live server, and I'll go over how you can get on the test server yourselves and give some feedback about this new area. So what is it like? Well, in terms of size, it is roughly equivalent of the current map, but it is a lot more open. There is less water and vegetation thickets as well. Another different characteristic is that the compounds in general seem to be much larger and spread out. A number of them are really quite huge, namely Fort Carmick, Lawson Station, and the prison. This creates an interesting dynamic in which fighting through interiors is highly relevant, yet there are also more opportunities to engage enemies over long distances, and firefights at ranges from one compound to another are not uncommon either. Then there is the type of day. The Lawson Delta is only playable in the daytime. However, it uses a different type of skybox and lighting system to what we are familiar with for a day map. The Delta bakes under a midday sun, with a blue sky and very washed out colours. I do like this effect and it makes for a very clear view of your surroundings. However, I think the washing out of the colour palette might be a little bit overdone and it might need some vibrancy injected back into the lighting. So from my experience, how do engagements actually play out between hunters? Now it is hard to say exactly how people will play on this map, as at the moment everyone is still learning the layout of compounds and wanting to just explore. This means that gameplay seems more aggressive than normal, with lots of mobility. From the fights I have experienced, I only have positive recollections to share. Both when attacking and defending the various compounds, there is ample cover, entrances, and mobs to create dynamic combat scenarios. There are definitely lots of layers to go into about features of each compound, ways to traverse them quickly, sneaky holes to shoot through or throw grenades, and it is really exciting to learn them as we go. Despite this, the map does have a few issues that might be holding it back from hitting the live servers. The biggest one I have not experienced personally, but apparently some spawns are actually visible to each other, which means that hunters can shoot and see enemies right from the get-go of the match. This is obviously a problem, if pretty rare, but one that also used to occur on the current Bayou map, and that was easily fixed by adding extra cover and foliage around certain spawn areas. The only other really problematic thing I noticed is that some of the sound effects for walking on surfaces are not mapped to the correct textures. This is noticed most when walking over metal rooftops, as in many places your footsteps will sound as if you were walking on a wooden floor. You might think that this is a small thing, but it's an issue that can cause mistakes in combat that may lead to losing hunters, and that's the kind of thing Crytek wants to avoid happening on the live servers, because in the past people have become very frustrated losing hunters to glitches and bugs, even though the game is still in early access. Now, other than this, I really think the Lawson Delta is 95% playable right now. There are a slew of other indications that it is still in the beta stage, such as some buildings not containing any furnishings, or some textures looking really underdone, or in rare cases, being completely non-existent. And sometimes things are floating in midair, or the terrain doesn't quite match up perfectly, but for the most part, it all works pretty well. So if you want to try out the new map now, because we don't know exactly when it will be available on the live server, although my guess would be within the next week or maybe two, you will need to download and update the Hunt Showdown test server. You won't find this in your Steam store, but if you own Hunt Showdown, it should appear in your library underneath the main game. Now you need to launch this app, not the main game, and you will be able to play with the 3.0 build and the Lawson Delta. Remember that progress, hunters and stats do not carry over to the live server at all, so you can go crazy and experiment without any worry about ruining your KD or whatever stat people think gives them big EP in these days. While playing, remember to keep an eye out for bugs and map glitches. If you find one, you should screenshot it, bring up your in-game map, screenshot that as well, and post both screenshots on the Steam feedback forum or even on the Hunt Showdown official Discord. This is really important because the faster the devs have all this information, the faster the map will be ready for the live server, and the better that will be for the entire player base. Also, it is a great way to get a quick step up on the map knowledge you'll need for when the map goes up for real on the live server. It is a really cool piece of content. It has loads of Easter eggs and really nice details, and I do think it's worth checking out yourself. You can see a lot of care is going into crafting this map. Now if you want to connect with us here at 4FS Gaming, please like this video or consider subscribing, and check out our Discord linked in the description below. If you would like to support us in creating more regular and higher quality videos, we also have a Patreon page linked below as well, with our patrons being recognised in all of our videos and getting other opportunities to have their say in what we do. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Ascendance from 4FS Gaming.